Greetings, everybody. From Hannover Messe. We are in Coreflux booth again with the CEO, Hugo Vaz. Hugo, you've been here for a few days. Maybe talk a little bit about what are some of the takeaways and what have you seen on the show floor that confirm you're building the right thing?
So actually three things. So first of all, our booth was fully packed every day. Today is the last day, let's say. So everything is closing right now, but there was a lot of discussion. The demo was really showing what we are, and the second thing was we are probably more than a broker. So we are something a little different that's able to bring value to the customers, where they really see a fit in terms of connectivity. And we had the centers here, let's say a Euro centers that we are integration heaven, and I think it fully got the picture of what we really are bringing into the market. The third thing was that even the discussions that we had here, we had a very nice one with our let's say our competitors, that we talk about the MQTT as a whole, and that for me, at least for me, it was a great moment, because we are not only a software house that's bringing something to the customer. We have also the shared responsibility of working on the MQTT as a whole. So we are a vendor as well. So we have our share of keeping the standard, keeping the specification in a proper way. And having other competitors being here discussing that with us, it's like we are peers in that matter. So it was quite good to see those three things in a fair. We're quite excited about it.
Now, you've mentioned you're building something more than a broker. Would you say that's an industrial IoT platform? What is it that you're building? Maybe double click on that. What would you box it today if you had to?
So I will say that we are an IoT platform built on top of an MQTT broker. So that's the thing. So the broker is there,
right,
but it's part of the infrastructure, and the capacity that we are bringing to the customer, besides being an enterprise solution that we are able to control in terms of security, it also brings the openness that the MQTT broker has. So we don't have a vendor lock-in. Let's say you can kind of exchange, and for the customer that's great, because not having a vendor lock-in, it means that he owns his own data, is not stuck to and for us that's the most important thing, because we came from the plants, we came from that scenario, and it was important for us to have that kind of solution that is open, that it is reliable, secure, and you are able to integrate. So we are kind of fulfilling that to our customers, based on real pain that we had during our careers.
Now, you're building an open platform, industrial IoT platform, and most of them cost thousands of dollars before you even connect their first device. You're offering Coreflux with a free version. Why give it away?
I'm not giving it away, but you should start at some point. So we believe that, so one of the things that happens when a customer starts a project, he clearly, let's say, thinks he has the right perspective. So it's a little bit like what Eisenhower said, don't follow plans, but plan always. So it's a part of doing these cycles of iterations, and develop the system based on a real plan that you have. So you started with a low budget, probably, most of the times. So having something that the client is able to touch, use, and a real user experience that he's able to do step by step and do the first integrations, it becomes something that makes traction to develop the system. Then we have our enterprise license, then we can talk about building something. So that's why we are doing like that. Can even run it on a Raspberry Pi, yes, but You can also run it on a server or cloud or edge. It's up to the client to decide based on the plan or the strategy that he has.
Thank you, Hugo. Now, I want to end with one question maybe. When a manufacturer starts using Coreflux for the first time, what do they typically discover about their own factory data and that they did not know before? And maybe touch a little bit on what is unique about your IoT platform that the rest of them, maybe even competitors, do not offer. Maybe
Okay.
some of them that started as a broker and evolve into a platform.
So I will try to answer that in two separate ways. First, what the client is able to see is the possibilities of what he is able to connect and how he's able to interact with the data. But coming back to the last question about a strategy, you need to have a strategy first. So the client will see a lot of possibilities, a lot of potential that he is able to tap by having a machine connected, by having your manufacturing execution system connected, your enterprise resource planner. But you need to have an idea internally which KPIs you need to follow. What is your objective as an enterprise? So we will actually create a good problem, which is to define what they really want to make, what they really want to do, and that creation of opportunities, it's great. But it goes back to the first question. You need to have a clear strategy for which KPIs you want to do, and that's all about business. So, second part, what we are bringing, those possibilities. So, in terms of MQTT, in terms of IoT Plus, we have our own way to connect to devices, and we are bringing something that the broker is able to run internally, logic, and handle objects internally. And this kind of creates a tool that, besides being very performant, it's also able to scale a full system in a standard way. And during this event here, it was really awesome to see that everyone, even our competitors, were really enjoying what we did. Our customers were really looking at that way of handling data, and I think that's the way that we are following, and the push that we will make even this year to follow out that path.
Thank you. Now, Hugo, you've referenced competitors, and I know in particular, one of your competitors started as a broker and evolved into IIoT. I still want to double click a little more. Why Coreflux? Why 2026? Why now? A lot of companies may have a strategy. A lot of companies may have gone through the promising land and gone through multiple plans, pilots, perhaps never got to scaling. What is this unique? I want to zero in a little bit closer there.
So, going to that question. So, first of all, why this year? So you have at least three questions there. But first, why this year? Actually, we started before.
Mm-hmm.
So back in 2017, we really when we started Coreflux, the market was not there yet, and we started real soon, too soon. It's a story about starting too soon. Now, we were able to put all the vision that we have, and even with our agent, I didn't brought that up, but the agent that is able to use the broker and interact with it and build the base of your system, connecting to the device, that's the thing that we are really bringing into play. So instead of having to spend 90, 180 days, whatever, you are able to ask to your system, I need to connect to this PLC. And this is not only for manufacturing side.
Right.
We've been talking a lot about manufacturing, yes, because we kind of came from there, but we are also working on other sectors. And a lot of sectors came here from energy that really enjoy the same concept, the logistics as well, because we had a demo of connecting to all boats of Europe that you were able to see here. And they all have a common problem. All of them want to get that data, transform it, and send it to somewhere that they are able to use it and get it back to the devices or the systems that are really touching that data. And in a way, create a full cycle that creates automation and control, not in a very local way, but in a global way. So most of the companies that arrive at here, they have everything in silos, and those silos right now are not databases. Those silos are, for instance, power plants. Those silos are cars. Those silos are plants. So people are now trying to connect everything into one. So trying to answer your question as a whole sentence, right now it's because the AI opened the eyes that context is everything. But we are still lacking data to transform it into information. And only by checking what information is, you get a context or knowledge. And we still have this gap. This gap is still missing because if you look at AI, they have a lot of data, but mostly it was scraped from the internet. It was gathered from databases, from Wikipedia, from Reddit, for whatever. But if you look at that data that creates those LLMs, it didn't came from a boat, it didn't came from a car, it didn't came from systems that are running, that are working. And this is probably the next step. And it needs to speed up things because things are not ready there yet. So answering your question, yeah, we are tackling on sorting that out.
Thank you so much. We also have the theme here, the integration heaven. So that to me means that you're making a heck of a lot easier to connect with everything, as you alluded earlier, just by asking connect to PLC brand A, PLC brand B, and bring the data in so you can actually make faster decisions based on that.
Yeah.
Hugo, thank you so much for sharing your insights, and good luck with the company. No longer a startup, but I was using the startup because of the recent funding. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.